And so now, at long last, I have finally seen Whiplash. I saw it at a senior citizen screening on Bank Holiday Monday. I managed somehow to get a senior citizen's ticket. I guess it's because I'm going horrifically grey. I sat down and I was treated to probably one of the greatest cinematic experiences I have ever seen in my entire life. Lofty things to say, and I've not even got down to the meat and potatoes of the review. So, let us deal with the meat and potatoes of the review. It's directed by Damien Chazelle. The story is about a young man called Andrew and his time within a very prestigious university music group where he finds himself the victim of psychological and physical torture at the hands of his teacher, Mr. Fletcher. It is a very intense movie. It's a movie that I have to say in honesty, with no sense of sarcasm or any joke, that if you're the kind of person that finds themselves troubled by any kind of psychological, physical or verbal abuse, then this is a movie that you should avoid at all costs, because this is a current theme that goes all the way throughout the movie, pretty much from start to finish. It is an incredibly intense movie, even if those aren't the kind of things that you find yourself being offended by or things that trouble you. It is a movie that by the end of it you're going to feel exhausted, physically drained, but in a strange way, in the best possible way, because it's a movie that takes you on a journey that drags you through hell and back. I've heard this movie being described as a war movie, but with drumming, and never has an analogy about a movie ever been so true as with this. J.K. Simmons' character, he is a drill instructor. He's the kind of person that you see in movies shouting and bawling at new young recruits, which is what he does with poor Andrew in this movie. Andrew is played by Miles Teller, who you may have seen in the Insurgent, Divergent, by current movie, and he was... and also in the upcoming Fantastic Four movie. In this movie, he's great and he's fantastic. A character who is both sympathetic but at the same time ever so slightly infuriating, but once again in a very, very good way. Everyone within this movie pulls a stellar performance, none less than J.K. Simmons, who of course is an Oscar winner thanks to this movie. It is a fantastic movie from start to finish. I think it's probably one of the greatest movies I've ever seen in my life. If not, then it's certainly one of the greatest experiences I've ever had in the cinema, even though it was at a senior citizen screening, and most of the time leading up to this movie was people just yammering and yattering on very, very, very loudly. I think this movie is fantastic, purely and simply fantastic. My one criticism for the movie would be that J.K. Simmons may be a little bit too good. He does steal the show a fair bit. Miles Teller, once again, is fantastic within this, but you want to watch J.K. Simmons, you want to watch Fletcher, even if he is a horrible, horrible human being. But once again, he is a character who is a three-dimensional character. His motivations are adequately developed, so as horrible as he is, you do understand why he's so horrible, which is great. He's not just the generic villain archetype that we have in so many movies. He is a legitimate character with a legitimate history and a personality behind him. He's utterly horrible and insufferable, but he's fascinating to see him and to hear him try and justify the horrible ways that he treats people. It is a fantastic movie. The final sequence within this movie was a fist bump moment, which makes it sound as if I'm boiling this movie to its lowest common denominator, but I'll explain. There are very, very rare moments in a movie where I'll get a "come on, my son" moment, as I'm watching the football and someone's just scored a goal and I get very excited, so I kind of punch the air with glee. And this has only happened on two other occasions. Once while watching Drive for the first time, and once whilst watching Black Swan for the first time. So this happened in the final sequence. The final sequence of this movie is fantastic, brilliant. This entire movie is fantastic and brilliant. I recommend you see it at your next available opportunity. Ideally in the cinema, if you can do. If you can't, then I'm led to believe that it's available on some subscription-based internet streaming sites at the moment. I think it's on some digital retail sites at the moment. Wherever you can see it, it is a fantastic, brilliant movie. One of the greatest movies I think I've ever seen, and could well be one of the front runners to be the movie of the year for me. Fantastic, brilliant, and amazing.